It's a delight to be here, to join this gathering that has been going on for a number of years, as I have learned and discovered from my friend Sharon and meeting Frank here. And delighted to be in Des Moines, actually back in Iowa. About 5 years ago, back in May actually, it was 5 years ago, I decided to come back to Iowa to give back. Iowa was very good to me. Grew up on a farm, great family, small town, all the things that we know Iowa is for. And after having, been out there and built a couple of businesses, it was time for me to come back. I wanted to come back and help the governor with his healthy estate, with his education reform. And since I spent 20 years publishing educational materials and designing educational materials for kids, I thought maybe I could help. Maybe there was something I could do to give back so that Iowa could get back to #1, which is where they were when I graduated from high school. So I spent about a year working with the Department of Education, and then it got very political, and it went exactly where it has gone. As we now know, it went nowheres. So I was ready to go back to California and sit on the beach again, but then the governor launched the Healthy Estate Initiative. And since my second business was in the bottled water business, which then evolved me into a water-based wellness system, I thought, well, maybe I can give back there. Maybe that's what I came back here for. And so I got plugged into the Blue Zone project and all of that went on for a couple of years, actually 4 years now, kind of winding down as I understand. Then shortly, about 2 years ago, the governor launched his water quality initiative, and that was my third passion. And I said, okay, I'm here for a reason. And I took a look at the state of Iowa and said, 99 counties, 3 million people, 1% of the population. If you want to change the United States of America, you only need to change 1%. What if we could change Iowa? Is that possible? Somehow in my mind, I got that fixed on that and started down that road, and shortly thereafter started meeting people that saying, yeah, maybe it's time for that. Maybe we can do that. So about March of this year, I was invited to Dyersville to a presentation by Dr. Michael McNeil, who some of you may know. Zen certainly knows quite well. And he did a presentation on GMOs. And for 2 hours, I was speechless to find out what I thought I knew a lot about GMOs, but when I saw the real effects of GMOs, I was stunned, and became aware of Moms Across America, emailed Zen, told her a little bit about what I was doing. She called me, or literally sent me an email probably a week later and said, Merlin, we got to talk. I love what you're doing in Iowa. Let's talk. And ever since then, we've been waiting for this event to happen here tonight. It was actually in her living room, her dining room, that I got to meet her husband and kids back in May. I shared with her an idea called Refounding America. And I said, what do you think? She liked it. And so I said, so I want you to send a declaration. I mean, as a mom and what you're doing, what would a declaration for Refounding America look like? Day or two later, she emailed me something, and it was very, very powerful. Shortly after that, she got me invited to a meeting that took place in Irvine, California, where there were 26 people from around the world change leaders and game change agents, and I got to meet a gentleman by the name of Woody Bevel, who's sitting out here in the audience, came in from Carmel, California to be with us and to meet in regards to some of the things we're doing. And Woody said, I think it needs to be refounding a bold America. If we're going to do this, we've got to be bold. And so that's what we're doing here in Iowa. We're literally using Iowa as ground zero to refound Bold America, and hopefully I don't have to tell anyone out there in the audience why. If you're not sure about that, you will be sure after you hear Zen's speak tonight. So I'm delighted to be here, and I want to leave with kind of a Martin Luther King thing, meaning that he had a dream and I have a dream, and I want to share it with you. I dream of a one-world people and planet. I dream of of living on a planet where the basic needs of all people are met. I dream of living on a planet where we look at the true value, the true costs, the true profits in regards to our natural resources so that we can create a sustainable, viable economy. I dream of enough food and biofuels through a new green revolution for everyone living on our planet. I dream of the recovery and the regeneration of our forests. I dream of a secure and sufficient supply of low-carbon energy. I dream of a near-zero net energy building system. I dream of a safe and low-carbon mobility and transportation for our planet. And most importantly, I dream of a world without waste. I share that dream because it's very personal, but I got that dream from the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, 200 multinational organizations that own the world. That's their dream. It's called Vision 2050. You can find it on the internet, wbcsd.org. When I first saw that, I couldn't believe it. I said, holy Moses, these are supposed to be the bad guys. And yet they have the same thing in their hearts that I believe every one of you would agree with and would like to see this dream come true. The thing that they're not aware of is that their vision is for 2050. With the refounding of a bold America, we have accelerated by 20 years. So we have that dream, except we're going to do it in the next 15. And that means we're going to have to be bold, we're going to have to be exponential, and we're going to have to address the fundamental things that Zen is going to talk about tonight. And that is, we've got to fix the water, the food, and our health care. If we're half sick, if we're half dead in some cases, and we don't have the energy, the drive, the vision to turn our nation around, we're all in big trouble. And we might accept that for ourselves, but as Zen will talk about, we can't accept it for our kids. Thank you for being here. My pleasure to be here as well.